Chapter 3 Early Struggles. Mimi stood on the edge of a cliff, staring at the blue lake below. To her left was a beautiful waterfall. She loved to watch the water gush over the ledge and cascade into the plunge pool. Like the crow's nest on the old ship, this was a place where she could find serenity and be herself. But things could change quickly for Mimi, and without warning. 1 minute she would be blissfully watching the water, and the next minute she could be distracted by an unfamiliar sound. When this happened, Mimi would cover her ears and either run off or go to ground and cry. She reacted the same way when her daily routine was disrupted. The cause of these breakdowns was not easily discernible, but her parents did everything they could to comfort her. They loved her, and it broke their hearts to see her in distress. Luckily, on this occasion, everything seemed to be perfect. Mimi watched as some fish leapt out of the water upon reaching the waterfall and glided into the lake below. Mimi was fascinated by this. She wondered what it must be like to fly like a fish. And with that, she jumped as high as she could off the edge of the cliff. "Mimi! Mimi!" Afnu cried. Afnu darted towards the cliff edge and threw himself into the lake. When he surfaced from the water, he looked around frantically. "Mimi! Mimi, where are you? Mimi!" His heart was pounding. He knew he did not have much time and that he had to act fast. He dived underwater, swimming in circles, searching for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Suddenly, and to his relief, he heard a familiar voice coming from behind him. "Nat Dodon! Nat Dodon! Ah! Yasini kunisi asidon!" Afni turned around and witnessed the most bizarre scene. Mimi appeared to be standing on the water in the middle of the lake. Afnu had seen many things in his life, but nothing quite like this. Aghast, he watched with his eyes wide open as Mimi floated across the lake to the bank. It was then that it all made sense. Emerging from the water was a hippopotamus on whose back Mimi stood aloft. She gleefully jumped off onto the shore and continued to play, seemingly unaware of the danger she had just been in. In her mind, she had just experienced what it was like to fly like a fish. Afnu pulled himself out of the lake, weary and exhausted, and thanked the hippo for her help. He then rushed towards Mimi and held her tight in her arms. Mimi lacked a sense of danger and regularly got herself into trouble, meaning Afnu had to always be on guard. His biggest fear was that something grave would happen to her and he would not be there to protect her. He regularly had nightmares involving Mimi in a perilous position, and he would have to rush to her aid. One recurring nightmare involved Mimi being stuck in a well with water constantly pouring in. He would desperately try to figure out a way to save her before she drowned. Another was searching for her in a misty forest. He would hysterically shout her name but get no response. It would soon become dark and she would be trapped in the forest and attacked by wild animals. Afnu would wake from these nightmares in the middle of the night. He would cast a quick glance at Mimi, who would be sleeping peacefully on Tuta's chest. He would stroke her chubby cheek, give her a kiss on the forehead, and then sit on his favorite branch of the tree and breathe a sigh of relief. Sometimes he could hear the waves from the ocean, accompanied by the sound of rain droplets tapping on the palm tree leaves above. In this symphony of nature, Afnu would cry quietly, thinking of Mimi and the challenges that lay ahead.